best and most accurate.
Hello and welcome to Express News. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest updates and stories. Let's start with our top story. The mortal remains of Ramvilas Paswan reaches Patna to be accorded state funeral. National flag fly half-mast. Earlier, mortal remains of the departed leader was kept at his residence to pay the last respects. President Ramnath Kovind paid tributes to Union Minister and Lok Janshakti Party leader Ramvilas Paswan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid last respects to Union Minister and LJP leader Ramvilas Paswan at his residence. Home Minister Amit Shah also paid last respects to Union Minister and Lok Janshakti Party leader Ramvilas Paswan at his residence. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also paid tributes to Union Minister and Lok Janshakti Party leader Ramvilas Paswan at the latter's residence. BJP President JP Nadal, Union Minister Piyush Goyal paid last respects to Ramvilas Paswan. The Union Cabinet also condoled the sad demise of Ramvilas Paswan, Union Minister for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. The Cabinet observed silence for 2 minutes in the memory of Ramvilas Paswan. In its resolution, in the Cabinet said in his passing away, the nation has lost an eminent leader, a distinguished parliamentarian and an able administrator. The resolution also highlighted his political career from 1969 to the present. It said he was the voice of the oppressed and always championed the cause of marginalized sections of the society. The Cabinet extends its heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family on behalf of the government and the entire nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the physical distribution of property cards under the Swamitwa scheme on 11th October via video conferencing. Prime Minister will also interact with some of the beneficiaries during the event. The launch will enable around 1 lakh property holders to download their property cards through the SMS link delivered on their mobile phones. This would be followed by physical distribution of the property cards by their respective state governments. Nominations for the second phase for assembly elections began with the issuance of notification. The last date of filing nominations for second phase is October 16th, while scrutiny will take place on October 17th. The last date to withdraw candidature is October 19th. Polling for the second phase will be held in 94 constituencies spread across 17 districts on November 3rd. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today slammed Rajasthan government for deteriorating law and order situation in the state. He asked Congress leader Rahul Gandhi to take note of it and ensure that actions are taken against the lawbreakers. Afghanistan leader and chairman of High Council for National Reconciliation Dr. Abdullah today met External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar at the Hyderabad House in New Delhi. India is on a steady trajectory of continuously declining active cases. Active caseload has gone below 9 lakh for the first time after a month. The country registered 8.93 lakh active cases today after registering 8.97 lakh on 9th September. The national recovery rate has jumped over 85.5% with the continuous streak of high number of recovered cases being reported in the past few weeks. India has the highest number of recoveries from the infection in the world. 70,496 new confirmed cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. 78% of the new cases are from reported 10 states and union territories. India today successfully test-fired Rudram-1, the tactical anti-radiation missile that the Indian Air Force can launch from its Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jets. The missile has a launch speed of up to 2 Mach, twice the speed of sound. The Defence Research and Development Organization developed the new generation weapon. It was tested at the interim test range Balasore off the coast of Odisha in the Bay of Bengal at about 10:30 a.m. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh congratulated the DRDO team that developed the supersonic capable missile. The Reserve Bank of India, in its bi-monthly monetary policy statement issued today, has maintained a status quo, keeping the key interest rates unchanged. The reverse repo rate remains unchanged at 3.35%, the repo rate at 4%. This was announced by RBI Governor Shaktikant Das. The Monetary Policy Committee has also decided to maintain its accommodative stance as long as necessary, at least through the current financial year and next year, as Indian economy is entering into decisive phase in its fight against coronavirus. The RBI Governor also mentioned that GDP growth may break out of contraction and enter into positive zone by fourth quarter of current fiscal. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das said the economic growth, which slumped to a negative 23.9% in the April-June quarter, will turn positive only in the final January-March quarter. Equity benchmark index Sensex rallied 327 points on Friday, extending gains for the 7th straight session on the back of financial stocks after the RBI left benchmark rate unchanged but decided to maintain an accommodative stance. The 30-share BSE index ended 326.82 points or 0.81% higher at 40,509.49. Broader NSE Nifty rose by 79.60 points or 0.67% to 11,914.20. The rupee strengthened by 8 paise to close at 73.16 provisional against the US dollar. Gold prices rose rupees 236 to rupees 51,558 per 10 gram in the national capital on Friday, following a positive trend in the international market, according to HDFC Securities. Silver prices on Friday rose by rupees 1,081 to rupees 61,600 per kg in futures trade as participants widened their bets on firm spot demand. Crude oil futures on Friday fell by 1.12% to rupees 2,991 per barrel as participants reduced their positions on low demand. Gabriel Orozco, the Mexican artist with the continent-spanning perspective, promoted his new collage watercolors with a dramatic screen-friendly teaser. Orozco created these several dozen works while in quarantine in Japan earlier this year, but he oversaw their installation at a top-tier Manhattan gallery virtually. Armenians living in Azeri breakaway region of Nagorno-Karabakh flocked to a local Christian church seeking a shelter from shelling by the Azerbaijan's military. Moscow expressed alarm on Tuesday after the deadliest fighting in more than 25 years between ethnic Armenian and Azeri forces entered a 10th day. A World Championship surfer had a close encounter with a shark in New South Wales, Australia. The close call was captured by a patrol drone belonging to lifeguards at Sharps Beach, 162 km away from Brisbane. The drone footage was filmed as part of a new program for lifeguards at Sharps Beach. Over 10.67 lakh people have died worldwide due to COVID-19, while over 3.67 crore COVID-19 cases have been reported worldwide. As many as 2.76 crore people have recovered from the virus so far. The United States continues to top the list, being the worst hit country by the pandemic so far, with the highest number of COVID-19 cases. Over 78 lakh cases reported in the US, while 2.17 lakh people have lost their lives due to COVID-19. In terms of death toll, Brazil stands second on the tally with over 1.49 lakh deaths. There are over 50 lakh cases of COVID-19 in Brazil. US President Donald Trump's physician has said that the president had completed his course of therapy for the coronavirus, had remained stable since returning to the White House, and could return to public engagements from tomorrow. France's new daily COVID-19 infections remained above the record 18,000 threshold for the second day yesterday. The number of people treated in hospital for the disease also remained up. The French cities of Lyon, Lille, Grenoble and Saint-Étienne will go on maximum coronavirus alert level from tomorrow. Paris and Marseille were put on maximum alert earlier. The number of people in France who have died from COVID-19 rose by 76 as of yesterday and now stands at 32,521. There are over 6.71 lakh COVID cases in the country. At 5 army bases in Madrid, 150 volunteer soldiers spent their days calling people who have been diagnosed with COVID-19, mapping recent social interactions and asking those potentially infected to stay at home. Spain became the first Western European nation to surpass 8 lakh total coronavirus cases, and Madrid accounted for 35% of all cases. The United Nations Food Agency, the World Food Programme (WFP), won the Nobel Peace Prize on Friday for its efforts to combat hunger and improve conditions for peace in areas affected by conflict. The Rome-based organization says it helps some 97 million people in about 88 countries each year, and that 1 in 9 people worldwide still do not have enough to eat. American poet Louise Clook has won the 2020 Nobel Prize in Literature for her unmistakable poetic voice that, with austere beauty, makes individual existence universal, the Swedish Academy said on Thursday. A professor at Yale University, Clook made her debut in 1968 with Firstborn and is seen as one of the most prominent poets in American contemporary literature. Her poetry is characterized by a striving for clarity, the Academy said, with a focus on childhood, family life and close relationships between parents and siblings. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden said that if he wins the November elections, Americans would learn his position on increasing the number of justices on the U.S. Supreme Court. The tourists in Mexico's top Caribbean resort, Cancun, returned to the beach on Thursday after Hurricane Delta lashed the region, with damage less severe than some feared. Delta was located about 345 miles south of Cameron, Louisiana, packing a maximum sustained winds of 115 miles per hour. A heavy fire broke out at a gas station in Nigeria's commercial capital Lagos on Thursday following a deadly explosion. At least 5 people were killed, while 8 people with major burns have been taken to nearby hospitals. The explosion has razed 25 houses, 16 shops and damaged a hotel and school in the area. The clear night sky of the northern city of Monterrey was lit up by a huge fireball. According to the Mexican Civil Defense Ministry, the object was probably a meteorite breaking up as it entered Earth's atmosphere. Security cameras captured the moment. Both men and women cast Syrian taxi driver Kinana Albuni surprise glances when they get into the car. She has been driving through Damascus streets since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. After graduating from a commercial institute, she realized that working indoors did not suit her and decided to work as a taxi driver instead. For 10 years, the 37-year-old single mother drove customers from Damascus to Beirut. When the border closed to curb the spread of the coronavirus pandemic, she started to work for a private taxi company in Damascus. Britain's Prince William launched a multi-million-pound global prize aimed at solving the world's environmental problems on Thursday, opening nominations on November 1st ahead of an award ceremony next year. The 2021 award ceremony will take place in London. The project, called the Earthshot Prize, will award 5 £1 million prizes each year for the next 10 years under the categories of protecting and restoring nature, cleaner air, oceans, waste reduction and climate change. Sports stories now. 12-time French Open champion Rafael Nadal looks to strengthen his bid for a record-equaling 20th Grand Slam title as he faces Diego Schwartzman in the semi-final. This match is the 11th between the two players, and Rafael Nadal leads the head-to-head 9-1 over Diego Schwartzman. In another semi-final, world number 1 Novak Djokovic faces 5th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas. The Serb has been in superb form at the tournament this year, losing just one set in 5 matches. Djokovic and Tsitsipas have faced off 5 times on tour so far, with the Serb currently leading the head-to-head 3-2. Stefanos Tsitsipas and Diego Schwartzman aim to shock Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. The French Open women's final will be contested between Australian Open winner Sofia Kenin and Polish teenager Iga Swiatek after 2 contrasting displays in their semi-finals. Sofia Kenin sees off 7th seed Petra Kvitova in 3 sets to book French Open final showdown with 19-year-old Iga Swiatek. American Kenin overcame Czech 7th seed Petra Kvitova 6-4, 7-5. 4th seed Kenin produced controlled tennis but had to save 10 break points against the 2-time Wimbledon winner. Iga Swiatek beats Nadia Podoroska in French Open women's semi-final 6-2, 6-1. The teen player is lowest ranked French Open women's finalist. Swiatek is won all 12 sets she has played in the tournament and dropped merely 23 games through a half-dozen matches so far. Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Kiran Rijiju chaired the 53rd governing body meeting of the Sports Authority of India and said the government is committed to providing a sports ecosystem of global standards for athletes. The sports minister announced that talent scouting committees consisting of top ex-athletes, coaches and experts are being formed and will begin the task of identifying sporting talent in various disciplines from across the country within the next 4 to 5 months once the COVID situation improves. Various other decisions taken during the meeting include the creation of new sports infrastructure projects and upgradation of existing infrastructure projects at various National Centre of Excellence to the tune of Rs 120 crores. The Sports Authority of India has approved a 2-month coaching camp for the Olympic core group shooters, which will be held at Dr. Karni Singh Shooting Range in the national capital from October 15th to December 14th. Dominic Calvert-Lewin marked his England debut with a goal as Gareth Southgate side eased to victory in the friendly against Wales at Wembley. England have won 6 consecutive matches against Wales for the first time since a run of 7 between March 1908 and March 1914. Scotland are 1 game away from their first major final since 1998 after a nerve-shredding win on penalties against Israel at Hampden. Kenny McLean scored the pivotal spot kick in the depleted squad's first ever shootout with only a victory in Serbia on 12 November, now separating Steve Clarke's men from Euro 2020. Ireland's hopes of qualification for the Euro 2020 finals are over after they lost 4-2 on penalties in the playoff in Slovakia. The game was goalless following extra time after the Republic missed a series of glorious opportunities. Argentina got their World Cup qualifying campaign off to the perfect start on Thursday when Lionel Messi's penalty gave them a 1-0 win over Ecuador at home. Lionel Messi's early penalty gave Argentina a 1-0 win over Ecuador in a lackluster match in Buenos Aires. Manchester United midfielder Paul Pogba has admitted that it is a dream of his to play for Real Madrid one day. Six Russian weightlifters, including Olympic bronze medalist Ruslan Albegov, have received bans based on analysis of data from the Moscow anti-doping laboratory that was at the center of a year-long cover-up scheme. The World Anti-Doping Agency has sorted through the vast data archive to identify cases where doping was covered up in Russia in previous years. Priyanka Chopra journalist recently took to Instagram to share a video on the adverse effects of climate change. In the video, the actor gave a reference to the TED countdown and said, "Science tells us that we have 10 years to take action on climate change, just 10 years." Fans in huge numbers responded to her video. Recently, a viral video of an octogenarian Delhi-based food vendor took the internet by storm, and he garnered massive support on social media. From Sonam Kapoor to Raveena Tandon, many Bollywood stars came out in support of the man in the video. Musicians from around the world will pay tribute to pop and rock icon John Lennon on what would have been his 80th birthday on Friday. Lennon was shot dead by a disturbed fan, Mark David Chapman, in New York on December 8, 1980, at the age of 40. Friday's John Lennon tribute concert titled "Dear John" will be held in aid of UK charity War Child. The concert will feature performances of Lennon songs and tributes by artists. It will be streamed for free online, with viewers asked to make donations to War Child. Born in Liverpool, England in 1940, he formed his first band, the Quarrymen, in 1957, which went on to become the Beatles the next year with the addition of Paul McCartney and George Harrison. The Beatles, which disbanded in 1970, are estimated to have sold more than 1 billion records worldwide. Patty Jenkins' new Wonder Woman movie has been delayed 3 times during the coronavirus pandemic. Jenkins is among dozens of top Hollywood directors appealing to the US government to provide a financial lifeline to cinemas. The director has warned that without movie-going, the century-old tradition of going to the movies could disappear from American culture, while theatre attendance has rebounded in some countries following a global shutdown in March. The follow-up starring Gail Gadot as the lasso-wielding warrior is now scheduled for release by Warner Brothers on Christmas Day. It had originally been set for June. Production of Jurassic World Dominion from Universal Pictures has been suspended for 2 weeks after a few people on the set tested positive for COVID-19. Filming on the dinosaur adventure movie resumed in England in July under stringent protocols for the cast and crew to contain the spread of the virus. His director Colin Trevorrow in a tweet said that all tested negative shortly after, but due to our safety protocols, we are going to pause for 2 weeks. Trevorrow did not identify who had tested positive on the movie, whose stars include Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. Well, that's all we have in this news bulletin. Stay safe, take care, and don't forget to wear a mask. With the festive season coming up, you need to be more and more careful. Thanks for watching.